We need to revive our belief in those entrepreneurial Alberta values that built this province into the envy of the world. Working day and night to renew the Alberta advantage, to renew this province as a place of hope and opportunity for generations to come, an Alberta that is strong and free. God bless you, and God bless Alberta.
That is Jason Kenney, the soon-to-be Premier of Alberta. The United Conservative Party swept to victory last night, returning the province to their Conservative mainstay, their staple. We are joined live now by Cormac McSweeney, our political expert. He is live in Calgary. Cormac, you were in the room last night when Jason Kenney took the stage. First of all, tell us about the mood there.
Well, if you're a Conservative in Alberta, you are thrilled right now. There were a lot of questions in the Conservative movement in this province after the last election when the NDP came into power. The right was split. They were facing a lot of internal fighting, if you will, within the Conservative movement. Jason Kenney brought them together, promised that by doing so he would have a path to victory, and that was proven last night. He focused a lot on jobs, on dealing with the frustrations and struggles of Albertans and addressing that. And that was really his key to victory, sticking to that economic message, which a lot of people in Alberta are getting frustrated over what's happening with the energy sector right now. So there are a lot of people who are happy, but then there are also people in Alberta who are kind of concerned right now about where this province is heading. On the campaign trail, some of the issues that popped up were xenophobic and homophobic remarks from the candidates, some of whom have won their seats and are sitting in the party right now in caucus. And then on top of that, the whole issue of gay-straight alliances in the schools and Jason Kenney's promise to allow for parents to be told when their kids are joining gay-straight alliances, which of course is a big concern because that would essentially be outing children to their parents. And so a lot of people in the LGBTQ2 community here are kind of concerned about where we go from here.
Are we seeing a shift? First of all, the Conservatives in Ontario with the Premier there, Premier Ford, and now in Alberta, are we seeing a shift back to the right or to the right, and in some cases extreme right in Canada?
Yeah, so we now have like 6 Conservative premiers across the country, and all of whom are vowing to fight over the carbon tax. It's interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens in the fall federal vote, because sometimes there's a trend that Canadians tend to vote different provincially than they do federally, and that trend might be what we're seeing right now with the Liberals in power provincially. With the checks and balances Canadians like to have on their politicians, they might be electing a number of Conservative premiers. But that's no, set rule or anything like that. It could be what blue wave that we're seeing sweep across the country, and it could be reflective of what we might see at the federal level. But, only time will tell. It's months to go before the federal election. A week is a long time in politics. Months could be, you feel like years in federal politics.
Cormac, you referenced the carbon tax and the potential to roll that back. That was one of the planks of the UCP platform. Talk about how this could affect British Columbia, the pipeline debate, cutting off the tap. So where does Kenney stand on these issues, and how is he going to move forward?
Yeah, this is going to be really tough for BC Premier John Horgan, because Kenney had all of these promises, and there were, I think Horgan's line was that he thought it was, heated campaign rhetoric, and he hoped that cooler heads would prevail after the election. But in his victory speech, Jason Kenney basically sent the message that anybody who stands in the way of the energy sector will feel his wrath. And that promise to turn off the oil taps, it seems like he's serious on that. That is an interesting stand to take, because it would hurt the Alberta economy, of course, but it would cause a lot of problems for BC as well. This is the largest port that Alberta will send their oil to, so it doesn't seem like it really makes economic sense for him, but it will cause some pain. You're already dealing with a lot of high gas prices in Vancouver as it is. This would jump that up significantly if all of a sudden he did take this action. But it would also force the federal government to then get involved, because you're talking about interprovincial trade here, and this is a spat between 2 provinces, yes, but it's dealing with a pipeline that is now owned by the federal government. So it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out, how far Kenney goes. But in these early stages, he has showed no signs of backing down. And so I think there's going to be quite the political war, if you will, on a number of different fronts for Jason Kenney.
Yeah, thanks so much, Cormac. Thanks for joining us live. Cormac McSweeney live in Calgary, talking about the recent election of Jason Kenney sweeping to victory the United Conservative Party, how that is going to affect British Columbia. John Horgan, Premier John Horgan, has yet to come out and comment on that. We expect that to take place today. Thanks again. Now